said, you get behind the computer, you start knocking out that to-do list, and like anything else, you're just going to job out until that task is done. But you have to find a balance because people do notice it. It is one of those things where your team will, pull you aside, or, I've had really good officers just be like, hey, I got this crap today. Go out and do this training event with the boys, or go out and get a couple jumps off and lean in that way. So it's tough though, because there is work to be done. There's always work to be done that you have to do. And being on the team at that level, that E7, E8, E9 level, that's not your primary duty. Your primary duty is being on everybody's team.
No, and that's true. And to the senior airman, that pulled you off to the side, Trent, and then what you're talking about, Aaron, I think that 10 minutes or that 30 minutes or even that 4 hours that you spend with that person or that group of people is more of an investment and more important than it is making sure that those X amount of 30 EPBs or whatever it is completed.
Yeah. I think sometimes there's two things that happen in my mind anyway, right? There's the people that think that they're more important now since they made E7 or whatever, got the top of their house. But then I know personally, like my thing is like, I'm like, well, I'm just a mass sergeant now. Like, who cares? But looking back, just like, a few minutes a day as an E4 with the E7 talking to me, like those were like huge moments in my life, like them just like sitting down or chit chatting with me in the hallway. And I think sometimes it's easy for some of us to lose sight of how influential we can be or should be to the younger folks in our organizations, right? And getting those priorities straight. And so I think you can go either way with that too. Like, you can get drowned in the paperwork, you can become an a-hole, or you can just be like, no, it's not a big deal. Like, without really fully grasping the responsibility and the influence that you can have on the organization as a senior NCO, and not taking full advantage of it for the younger people, and just trying to be like, no, like it's just E7. It's like, no, well, it's not. Like it meant something when you were an E3, E4, when they would talk to you and like share their experiences with you. And so there's also that responsibility to do the same thing when you make it there.
So that's something that I struggle with, because at the same time, I'm like, why would you want to talk to me? Like, right. Okay, the chief's here. Like, why? Do you really want me to be there? Like, let's be honest. Do you really want me to be there? And so that's the way I look at it. Cause I go, because of who you've talked about is I got to, in the past I had somebody in there that, you almost, at least with some of them, we didn't always trust them because they're in there and they're always, just scoping things out. What's inappropriate on the wall? Who's got inappropriate shit on their desk? Who's, surfing the internet instead of, programming radios or whatever it is. Right. And then you'd end up hearing about it. So that's why we were always kind of like, oh, why did we want a chief in there? And